Hey everyone, it's John with KGTropicals and KGTropicals.com here for part 6 of our video series about breeding African cichlids, and today's episode is called What to Do When You Have a Holding Female. Now, you might be a newcomer to African cichlids, you might not even know what I'm talking about when I say a holding female. Well, African cichlids are maternal mouth brooders. That means that the female holds the eggs in her mouth for a period of 18 to 21 days, as opposed to some of your other egg-laying cichlids that will lay their eggs on the substrate and then the female and the male will guard them as they develop, or laying them on a Amazon sword leaf or whatever. Instead, these fish hold the eggs in their mouth while they develop into fry. And so when you have the female holding, you know you've got 18 to 21 days to figure it out what you're going to do next. So we're going to talk about the different ways of handling that. Some ways are better than others. There's the way I believe is the best way. There's a way I would do it if I wasn't doing this as a business. We're going to talk about all of them. So the first way is the way that will get you the least amount of fry. It's the way that will provide you with the least amount of fun. And so if you're doing this as a part-time business, or you're wanting to develop it into a business like we've done, or whether you're doing it just because it's cool and you want to have a lot of fry, you don't want to do it this way. And that would be the do-nothing method. Some people do it. I mean, they have one tank, they don't care about breeding, and so they just, if there's a holding female, they just let it happen. And they don't do anything about it. And that's fine. I mean, you're not going to get any fry out of it. You might get a few. If you got a lot of hiding spots, like in this tank, they'll find a little crevice to hide in, the fry will. And a few of them might make it. But for the most part, you're going to basically have a free meal to a bunch of the fish in the tank. So the au naturel way is probably the au naturel way, the most natural way, but you're not going to get any fry out of it. So that's not the purpose of this video. I'm not trying to explain to you how to not get fry. I'm trying to explain to you the best way to get as many as you can. So don't do it that way. Forget that I even mentioned it. The next way is the way that we used to do it, and I would do it this way still to this day if I was doing this for fun and as a hobby. And that would be, after a few days from spawning, I would remove the female from the breeding tank and I would put her into her own tank, a maternity ward, if you will. This would be a 10-gallon tank. It could be a 20, it could, whatever you got. I would put her in this tank. I would cover the sides and the back of the tank so that no tanks on either side can make the female feel like she's threatened. And I would put her into this tank to ride out the duration of her pregnancy. Now, this is the way we used to do it, and I liked it. It was a lot of fun. When we turned it into a business, we changed our methods. But the cool thing about doing it this way is you actually get to see and witness the female's maternal instincts. You get to see her actually raise the fry for a little bit of time. And that's really cool. Doing it the way we do it now, you don't get to see that. And so if I was doing this as a hobby, I would want to get the most out of the experience. This is the way I would do it. Would be removal of the female after a few days and putting her into a holding tank where she can just relax, no stress. She's not getting pursued by the males anymore. She's not getting beat up by the other females in the tank. She's relaxed. It's like a spa for her. And this would be a great environment for her to be stress-free, which would result in you getting the most fry. Now, there are downsides to it. One, the female can just decide, you know what, I'm not feeling it. I don't want to that's enough. I'm hungry. I don't want to do it. And she could prematurely spit the eggs out. And if she spits them out when they're still in the egg state, within a half an hour, those eggs, potential fry, are gonna rot on the substrate of your tank. And it could be because the female's hungry, it could be because she just doesn't feel well, whatever it is. If you leave her in the breeder tank for a long time, instead of taking her out for a few days, the male and the other females, everybody's going to still be constantly pressuring her. That could stress her out, spook her, make her prematurely spit the fry. If she does that in the breeder tank, it's a feeding frenzy. All of the other fish in the tank are just going to converge on that area and tear up all of those eggs. So because you have all of these different ways that you could lose a batch of fry, we do it a little bit differently. And that is that we artificially incubate the eggs. Don't go crazy. I don't have some big science lab. What I'm talking about is we remove the eggs from the female's mouth a few days after spawning. Once we know they're good, fertilization has taken, everything's good, we'll remove the eggs from her mouth and artificially incubate them throughout the duration of their development. So we do this because then we don't have to worry about the stress on the female. We don't have to worry about her prematurely spitting the eggs. We don't have to worry about any of that. We have control over the eggs. Now, before you ask, before you even start to wonder, how do you get the eggs out of the female's mouth? I'm going to put a link to our video down below, unless I can figure out how to make a direct video link to it at the end of this video. I've done a video of how we strip African cichlids. It's actually our most watched video of all the videos that we've uploaded. And it shows the process that we use to remove the eggs from the female's mouth very gently, very humanely, without any stress on the female. Now, what are the positive things towards doing it this way? Well, way less stress on the female. We get more fry. We don't have to worry about those premature aborted pregnancies. We don't have to worry about all that. And the other key element to this for us as breeders who want to get as many fry as we can, it is dramatically less stress on the female. Forget about her being harassed by the other fish. When a female's holding eggs for 3 weeks, she can't eat. I don't care what you read in any other articles. I don't care what anybody else says. They don't eat while they're holding eggs. I've heard some articles say, or read some articles have said, oh, they can nibble on flakes and stuff like that. Never seen it. I've had thousands of batches of fry. Never seen it. So I don't know where these people are getting this information from. But the females, they don't eat. They get skinny. They get frail. I don't want to do that to the females. I want my female to be recovered and ready to spawn again as quick as possible. So removing the eggs after a few days means she only goes a few days without eating. There's some people out there that only feed their fish every few days. So it's dramatically less stress on them. They're going to spawn faster again. So for us, that's the critical thing. And so we do the egg stripping method, and that works incredibly well for us. So when you find your female holding eggs, it's very easy to spot her. She's like this. I'm sorry, I don't know any other way of showing you how. It's very easy to spot. You're a fish breeder, right? That's what you're wanting to do. So you're monitoring your fish. So you've seen your female had a big fat belly. You saw that her breeding tube popped out behind her, or near her anal fin. You knew that this was going to happen. And then you come home one day and your fish has a full mouthful of eggs. What do? I would select one of the first two methods, or the second two methods that I gave you. Either the stripping of them or the putting her in her holding tank, and I would let it go from there. I'm going to do a video eventually about how to make the egg tumblers that we use to incubate our eggs. Very simple to do, very easy to track down the parts. I get a ton of questions on how to do that, so I'm going to do that eventually. Probably not part of this series, but I'm going to do a video about how to make these egg tumblers. Very simple. I got the design off of YouTube. So I'll basically show that the same thing again, but in my own way. So again, just a quick recap. If I was doing this for fun, as a hobby, and still wanted to get a lot of fry, I would do this. I would use the method of removing the female and putting her into her own tank. Because I like to be able to watch what happens after the female releases the fry. But doing this as a business and wanting to get as many fry as possible, I like to use the egg tumbler method. Stripping the eggs and artificially incubating them. That's what I do, that's what we do, and it works for us. So get your system set up so that when you find out you've got a holding female, you know what to do with her. So, next video, we're going to talk about raising the fry. This is where all the fun begins. Raising the little babies. We're going to talk about what to do immediately. We're going to talk about what to do as they continue to grow. And we're going to go through this whole thing. Then we're going to start to wrap this series up about how to get rid of the fish, how to sell them, how to all of this. So hey, keep on watching. I'll put the next one out as quick as possible. It will not be a 2-month lag in between the videos, I promise. So thank you so much for watching. Hey, I say it at the end of every video. I'm going to say it again. Please go on our Facebook page. Like the page for us. Check out our website at www.KGTropicals.com. Follow us on Twitter at KGTropicals. And if you have any questions or anything, email me, kgtropicals@gmail.com. And hey, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.